GramacTalks. Be the light that guides, the courage that explores.
Hey everyone, I'm Fawzi Gramajo and welcome back to GramacTalks. Sometimes when we look at the challenges surrounding disability, it can feel like progress moves slowly. But today I want to focus on something hopeful. Because even if change doesn't always make headlines, there are important things happening in the CP community right now. There are new conversations, new technology, new advocacy, and new opportunities for people living with disabilities. And today, I want to share some of those encouraging developments with you. So recently, researchers and organizations have been putting more focus on accessibility and independence. One of the biggest developments this year was seeing accessibility become a major topic at CES 2026, which is the world's biggest technology convention. And that's exciting because for years, accessibility was treated like an afterthought. Now we're seeing that new companies are beginning to realize something important. That when you design for accessibility, you're designing for everyone. And we see that there is also a growing investment into assistive technology and mobility innovation. Organizations are helping fund new ideas that can improve communication, independence, and everyday life for people with disabilities. And as someone who uses a power wheelchair myself, I know how life-changing technology can be. And sometimes people see a wheelchair and they only think limitation. But I see freedom, movement, exploration, independence. Another important conversation happening right now is about adults with cerebral palsy. And I discussed some of this in a previous episode. However, we have seen that for a long time, most discussions have been focused mainly on children, but as I stated previously, people with CP grow up and we pursue careers, friendships, faith, dreams, and purpose. And many adults with CP are now speaking out about the need for lifelong care, inclusion, and support. And honestly, I think that conversation matters. I think we should have that conversation with our friends and our loved ones and our caregivers. Because disability does not disappear at age 18, and neither should support. There's also a new global initiative called CP360, working to improve awareness, healthcare access, and advocacy worldwide for people living with cerebral palsy. Seeing global organizations come together like this gives me hope, because it reminds us that people are paying attention. Slowly but surely, the conversation is growing. But beyond technology and research, I think one of the most important things happening in the CP community right now is people sharing their stories through podcasts like this one, support groups, social media, and advocacy. People are speaking up, and stories matter. And you don't need to have a disability. Your story matters. Your story can encourage someone in ways that perhaps mine can't, or perhaps no story is your story. Stories remind people that behind diagnosis is a human being, someone who dreams, humor, struggles, goals, faith, and purpose. And speaking of stories, I also want to share a quick personal update. So my fantasy novel, A Night of Snow, by the time this episode is released, A Night of Snow will officially release tomorrow, Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. And honestly, that means a lot to me, because growing up with cerebral palsy, there were moments where I wondered if certain dreams were realistic. But little by little, God opened doors. And now, seeing a fantasy story that I wrote become real, and on print, I have a copy right here. It's a dream come true for me, and it's incredibly humbling. I just wanted to thank everyone who has supported my writing career alongside this podcast journey. It truly means more than you know. So, if you're listening today and wondering whether progress is possible, let me encourage you. It is. Maybe not overnight, maybe not perfectly, but step by step, progress happens, and hope still matters. Thank you for joining me today on GramacTalks. And remember, be the light that guides, the courage that explores, and the faith that endures. F.H. Gramajo, signing off.
GramacTalks. This is where the brave mind